What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Friday, September 13th. Thursday, guys, didn't exactly go to plan. We started things off with Detroit minus 1.5 with Skubal on the mound. That seemed like a great spot. Unfortunately, that was a 4-2 loss for Detroit. 3+ scoreless innings coming from that Colorado bullpen. Guys, I did not have that on my bingo card for today. We had the Reds plus 142. Sonny Gray had terrible history against the Reds this season. But yeah, guys, I guess third time's the charm because he had a great outing and we saw the Reds lose that game. We had Houston minus 1.5. That one came through. That was a solid win, a 6-3 win there with Valdez being lights out and the Oakland bullpen being pretty bad. So take that one, put it on the board. And then we had the over in that Boston-New York Yankees game. We had over 8.5, ended up a 2-1 win for the Yankees. Bull starters were absolutely lights out in that game, bucking a lot of very positive trends there. So yeah, pretty annoying to go 1-3. Let's bounce back here with a full slate heading into the weekend. Before we jump into the games, hit that like button to give the channel a little boost and keep me motivated to make these videos every single day. If you're new around here or haven't already, subscribe to the channel for free so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. You can also sign up for a channel membership. Channel members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on the screen just like right now. I really appreciate all the support from you guys, and the NCAA football vid for Saturday should be out very soon, so you all have plenty of time to look it over before it goes live for everyone else on Saturday morning very early. Shout out to Eric Flores 4502 for the $5 donation. Let's hope we can find some winners today. Guys, our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up and also to join our free email list. Get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Stump the Spread is starting a $100,000 to $10,000 challenge that is going to be tracked through those emails, so get on the list so you don't miss out on how the challenge is going. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the Detroit Tigers. Baltimore comes into this game, guys, fresh off of a tough series against Boston. They lost 2 out of 3 in that one. They're now a full 2 games back of the Yankees in the AL East. They're going to be handing the ball in this game to Zach Eflin, who's 10-8 this season with a 3.65 ERA. His last start was against Tampa Bay, and he didn't have a great time. 5 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. A big departure from what we've seen from him lately. Lately, guys, he's been very good. He even had a fantastic start against Tampa Bay. So, yeah, lots of major trends not really coming true. Lots of weird things happening out there in the MLB these days, but we're going to find the value, guys. Eflin has not faced the Tigers yet this season, so we'll see what he can do. We'll also see what we get from that Baltimore bullpen, which has not been great down the stretch. It's been one of the reasons this team has struggled. A 4.09 ERA coming out of the pen has them well down there in the bottom half of the majors. The offense has also deserted this team after being one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball all season long. Not looking so hot anymore. They've scored 3, 5, 3, 0, and 1 run over their last few games. Yeah, all these major offensive categories, all these big numbers they were putting up all season, they are plummeting right now. So we'll see what they can do going up against the Tigers, who come into this game actually playing relatively well, although they did really let us down. Obviously, Skubal's hand problem, yeah, that's pretty unlucky stuff there. The x-rays came back negative, so we'll see how he can do. But yeah, not a great look, not something you want to see if you're a Tigers fan. They've won 4 out of their last 5, including that loss they just took to Colorado. But at 75 and 72, they've got work to do here down the stretch. We don't have a confirmed starter for them yet. They've been doing that to us quite a bit here lately. If this ends up being a bullpen start, they've been a very good bullpen this season, generally speaking. They're 6th in the majors right now with a 3.64 bullpen ERA. The offense hasn't been great, although they've been much better recently, but obviously scoring 2 runs in their final game against Colorado is not the best look. So yeah, a little bit concerned. I mean, we've seen Riley Green do good stuff recently, and yeah, he just robbed a home run, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, just not a very scary offensive team. 24th in the majors in batting average and 28th in on-base percentage. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got Baltimore at minus 146. The Tigers at plus 125. We've got an over-under of 8 in this game. Baltimore is 41 and 31 on the road. Detroit is 37 and 35 at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. Baltimore's a huge over team on the road. Detroit is an under team at home. Not too interested in that over-under of 8. Guys, in this game, go ahead and give me the Orioles at minus 146. I think they find a way in this game, but do I have enough confidence in this to put it in the pinned comment? I do not. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Royals come into this game fresh off of losing 2 out of 3 there at Yankee Stadium. At 80 and 67 on the year, they're 4 games back of Cleveland in the AL Central. They're going to be handing the ball in this game to someone. We don't know who yet, guys. We have an unconfirmed starter situation for the Yankees as well. So yeah, 2 unconfirmed starters to kick things off here, guys. this is not an early recording. Like, we're just not getting this information like we normally would. Generally, this season, Kansas City's been very good in terms of starting pitching. I mean, they're third in the majors in quality starts, but if this comes down to a bullpen start situation, we have huge concerns, guys. The Royals are the 6th worst bullpen in the major leagues, guys, a 4.47 bullpen ERA. Very, very bad there. So worried about the pitching situation in this game for sure. In terms of their offense, how have the Royals looked recently? I mean, 3, 5, 4, 2, 4, and 5 runs over their last few. Not swinging the hottest bats, and maybe not the coldest. They're down to 9th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in slugging percentage. Like, they've put up very high peaks and very low valleys this season. I'm not too worried about them in this particular game necessarily, but I would be lying if I said I had the utmost confidence in this offense. So we'll see what they can do here against the Pirates, who have won 4 in a row. Playing the Nationals and the Miami Marlins kind of help you out there. At 70 and 76 on the year, they're not a team with a lot of hope here down the stretch this season. They're going to be giving the ball to Luis Ortiz, who comes into this game, guys, fresh off of a pretty mediocre start against Washington. He'd been very good over 2 starts in a row there, going at Cleveland and at home against Cincinnati, looking dazzling in both of those. But yeah, his last amount got touched up a little bit by the Washington Nationals. But generally speaking, we've been happy with what we've seen from this guy ever since coming over from the bullpen. He's not somebody that's faced the Royals yet this season, so we don't know what to expect exactly from him in this matchup, but generally speaking, I think he'll be pretty good out there. The Pirates bullpen is a whole nother situation though, guys. 4th worst in the majors, a 4.65 bullpen ERA. Definitely very concerning stuff there. And the offense, while they've been a bit better recently, I mean, 3, 6, and 3 runs in a series against Miami, not really going to cause me to freak out. Brian Reynolds has done his thing this year. They're 20th in the majors in runs scored, though, and 26th in slugging percentage. So not holding my breath for a ton of runs here out of the Pirates. And looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Royals at plus 105, the Pirates at minus 122. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Kansas City is 35 and 37 on the road. The Pirates are 37 and 38 at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. Kansas City is a big under team on the road, and the Pirates are a slight over team at home. Not super interested in that over-under of 8.5, really, guys. I mean, if we do see a bullpen start here from the Royals, though, we could be very interested in taking the Pirates at minus 122, but we have to kind of wait and see here. We don't have a confirmed starter out there on the mound for Kansas City, so you're going to want to check back, check the pinned comment, and see if we end up putting this one in there. Rolling right along here, guys, we are looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies in a big NL East showdown. All that being said, the Mets are 8 games back, so let's not freak out too much. They did just win 2 out of 3 at Toronto, so I guess that's nice. The Mets, though, definitely got stuff still to fight for here this season. They're handing the ball to Jose Quintana, who's 8 and 9 on the year with a 4.09 ERA. His last start, though, was very, very good against Cincinnati Reds. He went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 0 runs, struck out 6 in what was a 4-0 win there for the Mets. So pretty good stuff there. Obviously, going up against the Phillies is not the same as going up against the Reds. The last time he faced the Phillies was back in June, and he did not have a good time. It was a game the Mets came back and won, but it was not Jose Quintana's fault. So yeah, a little bit worried about that. Also, a little bit concerned about the Mets bullpen, but not nearly as much as we were earlier in the year, guys. They're around MLB average now with a 3.91 bullpen ERA, so they'll definitely take that. Definitely playable there. The offense didn't have an amazing time in Toronto, guys. 6, 2, and 3 runs in that series. Maybe not swinging the hottest bats right now, generally speaking. I mean, they're supposed to be a top 10 offense. They are barely around that number. I mean, they almost got no hit there, so yeah, just not swinging the hottest bats coming into this game. Going up against the Phillies, who come into this one fresh off of a 3-game sweep there against Tampa Bay. They're 88 and 58 on the year, 30 games over 500. They're going to be handing the ball to Aaron Nola, who's 12 and 7 this season with a 3.41 ERA. His last start was against the Marlins. He got absolutely shelled out there, so kind of embarrassing stuff. I mean, over his 4 starts before that, he was very, very good, so seems like just kind of a hiccup there. We'll see what he can do against the Mets. It's looking like he has not faced, or no, he did face the Mets. He threw a complete game shutout, giving up 4 hits against the Mets all the way back in May. So definitely a guy in a bounce back spot against a team that he's had a ton of success against this season. So need to be considering the Phillies in this game for sure. Their bullpen does worry me a little bit, but guys, they've been getting much better here down the stretch. A 3.85 bullpen ERA. Seems like they've figured things out again for the bullpen. So we'll see if this is an upward trend that can take them into the playoffs. But right now, the bullpen definitely looking very good. In terms of offense, guys, they scored 3, 9, and 2 runs in that series against Tampa Bay. So yeah, some good things for sure, but I'm not, exactly blown away necessarily by how they're swinging the bats. But we've seen some good things. I mean, we've seen all kinds of the highest of highs for this offense, and maybe some of the lowest of lows too. I mean, they're currently 5th in runs scored, 4th in batting average. Like, this is a team that could go out there and put up double-digit runs anytime. Schwarber's been insane this year. Trey Turner swinging a pretty hot bat. So we'll see what we get from the Phillies offense in this game. And looking at the numbers, we've got the Mets at plus 134, the Phillies at minus 150. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. The Mets are 39-32 on the road. The Phillies are 50-24 at home. That's an MLB best mark at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under, and they're not like huge trends either. And guys, I'm not really too interested in that over-under. I am interested in the Phillies at minus 150. I know it's a little bit steep of a price, but with Nola having such good history this season against the Mets, and just the Phillies are playing pretty well right now, and the Mets really aren't, and Quintana has bad history against the Phillies, go ahead and give me the Phillies in this one. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Miami Marlins going on the road to take on the Washington Nationals. We saw the Marlins get the 6-3 win in Game 1 of this series, but at 55-92 on the year, not a ton to play for. They're hitting the ball to Edward Cabrera, who's 4-6 this season with a 4.88 ERA. His last start, he was absolutely lights out against the Phillies. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed. He struck out 6 and walked 1 in a 10-1 win there for Miami. Very, very good stuff. After a terrible start against them about midway through August, a great start from him against the Phillies here in September. So we'll see what he can do in this one going up against the Nationals. Going to be interesting out there. I mean, he's a relatively young guy. We can expect some inconsistency. He does have an outing against Washington back in April where he did pretty bad, but that is so long ago. I don't think that really matters. In terms of their bullpen, the Marlins have not been good here down the stretch. Maybe not a disaster, but a 4.07 bullpen ERA doesn't really fill me with confidence. I don't think they're going to hang on to every lead that they're handed, and the offense has not been having a great time for the Marlins. Obviously coming off a game where they scored 6 runs, but 6, 1, 4, 2, 10, and 9 definitely looks a little bit better, that 10 and 9 there against the Phillies, but overall, this is not a great offensive team. They're 29th in the majors in runs scored, 29th in on-base percentage. Their slugging percentage is only 372. That is 27th in the majors. Not going to be holding our breath for a big offensive night from the Marlins, who going up against the Nationals in this game, who aren't having an amazing time here down the stretch. I mean, they lost Game 1 of this series. They lost 1 out of 2 in that little series against Atlanta. They split a 4-game series against the Pirates at 65-81, not having a great year. They're hitting the ball to DJ Hers, who's 3-7 on the year with a 3.82 ERA. This young 23-year-old has done some very positive things this season. One of the recent positive things he did was put up 5 innings of no-hit ball at the Pirates. That was in his last start, so very, very good stuff there. He's been a bit inconsistent, which is exactly what we would expect to see from a 23-year-old trying to start in the major leagues. He faced the Marlins back in June and was lights out, guys. He had 13 strikeouts in 6 innings of work, gave up 1 hit in that game. So expecting pretty good stuff from him against the Marlins in this game, generally speaking. And in terms of their bullpen, Washington, not very good. A 4.21 bullpen ERA is certainly a significant concern. The offense hasn't been amazing recently either, guys. They've scored 3, 5, 0, 3, and 8 runs over their last few games. Luis Garcia Jr. is doing a few positive things up there. I mean, we've seen CJ Abrams really cool off down the stretch. They're tied for 22nd in the majors in runs scored, and they're 23rd in the majors in slugging percentage. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Marlins at plus 130, the Nationals at minus 142. We've got an over-under of 8 in this one. The Marlins are a terrible road team, 26-45 on the road. Washington is 33-38 at home. We've got both teams showing trends towards the under in this spot. I think that's pretty interesting. Miami is 42-28-1 to the under on the road. Washington is 34-33-4 to the under at home. So not much of a trend there, but Washington is putting a very, very good pitcher out there on the mound. The Marlins are putting a guy out there that's coming off of a pretty freaking amazing outing. So guys, I do think there's some value in under 8 in this game. If you're forcing me to pick the side, I do like the Nationals at minus 142, but I don't know if I love the price on that. So generally speaking, guys, I do think under 8 is probably the better value in this game. Do I like it enough to put in the pinned comment? Seems like a bit of a stretch to me. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Boston Red Sox going on the road to take on the New York Yankees. A couple of teams that really let us down yesterday. We thought we were going to have a high-scoring game, and things ended up being 2-1. Boston comes into this one obviously fresh off of that loss. They're going to be handing the ball to Tanner Houck, who comes into this game 8-10 on the season with a 3.24 ERA. It sounds like he's going to be coming off the IL, or did he actually make it to the IL for this game, or were they just considering it? But yeah, he was definitely marked as day-to-day. They weren't sure what was going to go on. They pushed him to the back of the pitching schedule to give him more time, and I guess the idea is that he's going to be fine going out there, but I'm definitely a bit concerned. His last start was against the Mets, and he didn't look great in that one, so that's another reason to be concerned. We'll see how he looks here against the Yankees. The last time he faced New York, he went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them were earned. He walked 4 and struck out 2, so not a great outing in a game we eventually saw the Red Sox lose 8-2, so definitely worried about him in this one, no doubt about that. We're always going to be worried about that Boston bullpen. They are bottom 5 in the majors with a 4.58 bullpen ERA, and the offense has not been killing land either, guys. Obviously 1, 5, 3, 12, 2, 7, and 3. And that's spanning a series, one game against the Yankees, a series against Baltimore, and a series against the Chicago White Sox. So we'll see what the offense can do here. They have not looked the same here late in the season, dealing with some injuries, a little bit banged up here at the end of the year, which is kind of to be expected. We'll see what they can do against the Yankees, who come into this game winners of 3 out of their last 4. They're 85 and 62 on the year. They've now got a 2-game lead in the AL East over Baltimore. They're going to be giving the ball to Clark Schmidt in this game. He's 5-3 this season with a 2.34 ERA. His last start was a kind of short one against the Cubs. He only went 4 2/3 innings, but he didn't give up any runs on 4 hits. In a game, we saw the Yankees win 2-0. So that has to feel pretty good. This is not a like super veteran guy, but he's old enough. I'm not worried about like crazy inconsistency. He has not faced the Red Sox yet this season, so we'll see what he can do. But I'm expecting good stuff from him, and I'm expecting pretty good stuff from that Yankees bullpen that's somewhere around top 10 in the majors, or they're exactly 10th in the majors with a 3.77 bullpen ERA. So I don't trust the Yankees bullpen nearly as much now as I did early in the year, but it seems like they have found a formula to kind of get the job done. The offense, I mean, we finally saw some good things. Judge's homerless streak continues. Soto got a hit in the 10th inning to get them that 2-1 win. Eventually, Judge is going to figure this out, guys. I mean, the dude's hit 51 home runs and is still batting .319 despite this slump. Obviously, we've seen great stuff from Soto this season, and the Yankees' offense as a whole is amazing. 2nd in the majors in runs scored, 8th in batting average, 2nd in on-base percentage. Like, this is an offense that's going to figure it out, and they've got good history against Tanner Houck, who's coming into this game possibly banged up. So looking at the numbers, we've got the Red Sox at plus 132, the Yankees at minus 145. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. Boston is 39 and 32 on the road, so a good road team. The Yankees are 39 and 32 at home, though. In terms of the over-under, we've got both teams showing big trends towards the over. So if you wanted to run it back with that over in this game, I couldn't blame you too much. If you wanted to take over 8.5, I would for sure understand. But I think the slightly better value in this game is on the Yankees minus 145. I expect them to find a way to get the win in this game. I mean, I'm not expecting great things from Houck. I'm expecting Clark Schmidt to be serviceable and for the Yankees bullpen to be good and for those bats to finally wake up. So is this going in the pinned comment? I don't think so, guys, but I do think there's some value on that over and on the Yankees as a side. Next up, guys, we got the St. Louis Cardinals going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Cardinals come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 there against Cincinnati. They're 74 and 72 on the year. They're clinging to hope, trying to fight for that wild card spot in the National League. They're going to be giving the ball to Eric Feedy, who's 8 and 9 this season with a 3.39 ERA. His last start was against Seattle Mariners. He was good out there, 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, only a single earned run allowed. So definitely getting himself in trouble and maybe not helping the cause too much in a game the Cardinals eventually lost 6-1. St. Louis is 1 and 4 over his last 5 starts, so that can't be a great feeling. We'll see what he can do here going up against the Toronto Blue Jays. Not necessarily the hardest hitting opponent. He did face them back when he was with the White Sox, guys, and had a pretty bad start in late May. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, and a 9-3 loss. So we're a bit worried about Feedy in this particular matchup, but we'll see what he can do. We're not worried about that Cardinals bullpen, which is top 8 in the majors or top 7 in the majors with a 3.65 bullpen ERA. The bullpen's been one of the bright spots for the Cardinals, but that offense absolutely has not been. They've scored 6, 2, 0, 4, and 2 runs over their last few games. Yeah, Arenado and Goldschmidt's being terrible this year has really sunk this offense. They're 25th in the majors in runs scored, 22nd in the majors in slugging percentage. This is just not a very good hitting team, so definitely concerned here going up against the Blue Jays, who come into this game not having a great time of their own. They've lost 3 out of their last 4 to fall to 69 and 78 on the season. They're giving the ball in this one to Kevin Gausman, who is 12 and 11 this year with a 4.09 ERA. His last start was at Atlanta, 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. Not a terrible start, but not enough to get the Blue Jays the win. Toronto is 3 and 2 over his last 5 starts. The 2 wins were both against the Angels, so that kind of tells you something there. We'll see what he can do out here against the Cardinals. Obviously not the hardest hitting opponent, very, very much so not the hardest hitting opponent. So I'm expecting decent stuff from him, maybe not miracles. In terms of the bullpen, though, I'm always very worried about Toronto. They are 3rd worst in the majors with a 4.83 bullpen ERA. So not expecting miracles from the pitching staff, even going up against the Cardinals. The offense has definitely cooled off drastically. They've scored 2, 6, 2, 3, 9, and 1 runs over their last few games. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been the one doing the positive things for them this season, but they're only 19th in the majors in runs scored and 18th in slugging percentage. So looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Cardinals at plus 115, the Blue Jays at minus 130. We've got an over-under of 8 out there. The Cardinals are 35 and 37 on the road. Toronto is 35 and 37 at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. Toronto is a big, big over team at home. If you wanted to take over 8, I could maybe wrap my head around that, but I don't love it, guys. And to be honest, I don't really love either side of this thing. I would maybe maybe side slightly with the Blue Jays because of the negative history that Fede has against Toronto this season, but yeah, not a whole lot to go off of in this game. I don't like either one of these teams. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get you the occasionally free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just go ahead and click that link in the description. It'll take you right over to stumpthespread.com. Also, guys, just to clarify some of the questions we've been getting in the emails and in the comments, I am not the MLB capper for stumpthespread.com. These YouTube picks are obviously free to everyone and are just what I am seeing out there. We have an expert with nearly 15 years of experience that covers MLB and has a very strong algorithm and some very cool tools that he uses to bring our premium members the best picks possible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new. Now back to the games. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Rays come into this game 72-75 on the year, fresh off of a Game 1 win in this series. They're going to be handing the ball to my twin brother, Zach Littell. He's 6-9 on the year with a 3.89 ERA. My twin had a great start his last time out at Baltimore, guys. He went into Camden Yards. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the game, but he pitched well. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed. He struck out 4 and walked 1 in that game, so very, very solid stuff. Unfortunately, he's not been getting a lot of help from his bums of teammates. I've been telling him he needs to try and get traded because, yeah, they're only 2 and 3 over his last 5 starts, and he's been very good in at least 4 of those outings. So we'll see what we get from him here against Cleveland. The last time he went up against Cleveland, I somehow missed that game as well. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, and only a single earned run in a losing effort. So we'll see what he can do here against the Guardians once again in terms of their bullpen. Once my bro is done, guys, the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen's been pretty decent here down the stretch. Easily top 10 in the majors with a 3.72 bullpen ERA. And the offense, guys, that's been the problem for this team all season long. They've scored 5, 2, 4, 1, 2, and 7 runs over their last few games. Generally speaking, guys, that's not going to be getting the job done. So very concerned about an offense that is 28th in the majors in runs scored and 29th in slugging percentage. So we'll see what kind of run support Littell can get out there. Going up against the Guardians, they're probably going to need to score a few runs. Cleveland comes into this game obviously not fresh off of a very good outing, but at 84-63 on the year, they're cruising along in the AL Central, easily in the top spot. They're going to be handing the ball to Tanner Bybee in this game, who's 11-7 this year with a 3.56 ERA. His last start was at the Dodgers, and he pitched well. 5 innings, 4 hits, only 2 earned runs allowed against the Dodgers. Is a pretty good outing. He had a 1 good outing and 1 bad outing against Kansas City. We'll see what he can do here going up against Tampa Bay. I'm expecting pretty good stuff. I mean, this dude has been good this season, no doubt about that. It looks like he hasn't faced Tampa Bay yet this year, so we'll see what we get from him, but I'm expecting Tanner Bybee to be pretty freaking good. In terms of the bullpen, obviously Cleveland's been the best bullpen in Major League Baseball this season. A 2.74 bullpen ERA is absolutely elite stuff. They've been the best bullpen in Major League Baseball all season long. In terms of the offense, though, that's where the problems start to crop up for the Guardians, guys. They have scored 2, 6, 5, 5, and 0 runs over their last few games, and that's spanning 1 game against Tampa Bay, 3 games at the White Sox, and then 1 game at the LA Dodgers. So yeah, they really need the top of their order to kind of get things figured out. I mean, they lean very heavily on Quan and Ramirez to get the job done, and those guys maybe haven't been having the best time here at the back half of the season. They're 14th in the majors in runs scored, but 21st in batting average, batting .239 as a team. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad stuff, guys. It's not what you want from a team that wants to be a contender for a World Series this year. So we'll see what they can do in this matchup. Looking at the numbers, we've got the Rays at plus 150, the Guardians at minus 166. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this game. Tampa Bay is 34-37 on the road. Cleveland is 43-25 at home, so a very good home team. In terms of the over-under here, we've got Tampa Bay, they're an under team on the road, and Cleveland, they're a big over team at home, which is kind of shocking. I'm not too interested in the over-under in this game, guys. I would maybe lean a little bit towards that under 7.5. In terms of a side, I actually think my Twins got a chance out there in this one. I think Littell and the Rays at plus 150 is a pretty reasonable price. Is it a good enough price that I'm convinced to put it in the pinned comment? That seems like a bit of a stretch to me. I do think this could be a really weird spot to look at taking the Rays at plus 1.5, but if you took them plus 1.5, you can get them at like only minus 145 or minus 150. That's not a super appealing price. So I would say if you're interested in the Rays, I would just go ahead and play them straight up and get that plus 150 and hope they can come through with a win. Next up on this Friday schedule, guys, we got the LA Dodgers going on the road to take on the Atlanta Braves. The Dodgers come into this game fresh off of losing 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. They're 87 and 59 on the year. They're going to be hitting the ball in this one to Landon Knack, who's 2 and 3 this season with a 3.00 ERA. His last 3 starts have all been very, very good, guys. His last outing was his most, recent and very much his most recent. The last time he pitched before that was back in mid-August. His last time out was back on the 6th against Cleveland. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Unfortunately for him, that was a game the Dodgers lost 3-1, but it wasn't Knack's fault. He was very good out there. In terms of their bullpen, the Dodgers have been very good down the stretch. A 3.58 bullpen ERA has them 5th in the majors, and they've been a good, solid bullpen all season long, so not expecting major problems there. The offense has been a little bit weird recently. I mean, they did just score 10 runs in the last game of their series against Chicago, but 10, 3, 4, 4, 7, and 1 run over their last few games. Not what we're used to seeing from this offense. We expect more consistency. They're 3rd in the majors in runs scored and 2nd in the majors in slugging percentage. But yeah, just not a team that's swinging the hottest bats. Obviously, we see Ohtani on that quest, that 50-50 club. Everything he's doing out there is absolutely wild. So we'll see what we get from their offense down the stretch here. And they're going up against the Braves in this game, who come into this one, just split a little 2-game series there at Washington. They're 79 and 67 on the year, so they've got a lot of work to do here at the end of the season. They're giving the ball in this game to Spencer Schwellenbach, who's 5 and 7 this year with a 3.78 ERA. His last start was against Toronto. He got absolutely shelled out there. 10 hits, 6 runs over 5 innings of work is not great. He's looked pretty good recently. He's had 2 good starts against the Phillies, a good start against the Twins, mediocre start against the Angels. So we'll see how he looks here going up against the Dodgers. Obviously not the easiest team to face, and he hasn't faced them yet this season. In terms of the bullpen, Atlanta's been good this year. A 3.17 bullpen ERA is 3rd in the majors right now, and they've been one of the best 3 or 4 bullpens in the major leagues all season long. So not too worried about that bullpen. We are a little bit worried about the offense, despite the fact they had a 12-0 win at Washington in game 1 of that 2-game series. They've scored 1, 12, 0, 4, 5, and 3 runs over their last few. And those are series and games against Washington, Cincinnati, and Toronto. So not the toughest opponents. They really lean on Ozuna in terms of offensive production. They're 21st in the majors in on-base percentage, 18th in runs scored, and they're only batting .240 as a team. I have significant questions about this offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Dodgers at -102, the Braves at -110. We've got an over-under of 8.5. Atlanta is 38 and 32 on the road. They are 35, 34, and 1 to the over on the road, so no major trends there, really. Atlanta is 40 and 31 at home, which is nice, but they are a massive 48, 22, and 1 to the under at home. That's an MLB best to the under number, guys. Looking at an over-under number of all the way up to 8.5, neither team really comes into this game necessarily swinging the hottest bats. I know the Dodgers are coming off of a game where they scored 10 runs, but in that series, they didn't, swing the hottest bats, and Atlanta is a much better pitching team than the Cubs are. Guys, go ahead and give me under 8.5 in this game. Going with that big trend there for Atlanta, I think this has a very solid chance to end up in the pinned comment. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Oakland A's going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. Oakland comes in this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 there at Houston. At 64 and 83, they don't really have a lot to play for except for pride here at the end of the year, but they are playing pretty well. They're handing the ball to Brady Basso in this game. He has yet to figure in a decision. His last start was a very good one against Detroit. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits and no runs. That was back on the 7th. It's his first start back up with the big leagues after being gone for a while. In June, he was in the bullpen, had a bad outing against Minnesota, and we haven't seen him in the big leagues since then. So getting another shot there against Detroit, he really took advantage of it. Getting another chance here against the White Sox, gotta be a situation he feels like he can have a very solid outing. And yeah, in terms of their bullpen, Oakland's been very good at different points this season. They've hit a little bit of a snag recently. A 3.94 bullpen ERA has them a little bit in the middle of the pack there, but this is a bullpen that's shown some positive things this season. In terms of their offense, it's been a bit of a struggle, even in that series against Houston. I mean, they scored 3, 5, and 4 runs respectively, so not swinging the hottest bats. They haven't been the greatest offensive team this season either. 25th in the majors, batting .234 as a team. They are 26th in the majors in runs scored, so not a lot of positives to report there. Just not a great hitting team. Brent Rooker's a monster, but not a ton of great options there for them at the plate. So we'll see what they can do here against the White Sox, who have lost their last 3 in a row at 33 and 114 on the season. They are setting records for being terrible. They're going to be hitting the ball to Garrett Crochet in this game. He was great earlier in the season, but he's had some problems here down the stretch. He's 6 and 11 on the year with a 3.83 ERA. His last start was back on the 7th against Boston. He had a terrible time, 2 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs in that game. It was a 7-5 loss for the White Sox. Yeah, just not looking like himself here really down the stretch. Obviously, it seems like he's losing a little bit of motivation here, and it also seems like the White Sox want to do everything they can to protect their young pitcher, and they want to protect him and have him out there for seasons that actually matter. So very worried about Crochet in this game. Obviously, we're also worried about that White Sox bullpen, which is the second worst in the majors with a 4.88 bullpen ERA. So if that bullpen is terrible, like even if we see a good start from Crochet, if he goes 5 or 6 innings, which I think is about the maximum they would let him go, is like 5, we're going to see a good, healthy 4-inning dose of that White Sox bullpen, and it is terrible, guys. So worried about the pitching situation for the White Sox, as always, but not as worried as we are about their offense, which has been absolutely horrendous. They're dead last in runs scored, dead last in on-base percentage, dead last in slugging percentage, and second to last in batting average, batting .221 as a team, which is just a couple of percentage points above the Seattle Mariners. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the A's at -124, we've got the White Sox at +110, we've got an over-under of 8 in this game. Oakland is 28-44 on the road, so pretty bad on the road. The White Sox are 18-57 at home, though. That's an MLB worst home record. We've got both teams showing trends towards the under here, which is a little bit intriguing. Oakland 37-33-2 to the under on the road, and the White Sox are 42-30-3 to the under at home. Guys, I think under 8 is reasonable. I think if you wanted to go with under 8, I could get behind that, but I think Oakland's in a very good spot to win this game. I'm not expecting good stuff from Crochet. I'm always expecting terrible stuff from that White Sox bullpen, so go ahead and give me Oakland to get the win in this one. They're playing pretty well here down the stretch. At this price, I think it's very, very reasonable, and I think we could see Crochet maybe only last an inning or two, or maybe just get shelled out there. The dude is very much not looking like the same person here late in the year. Next up, we've got the Cincinnati Reds going on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. The Reds come into this game fresh off of losing 2 out of 3 there against the Cardinals at 71-77 on the year. Not having a great time. They're hitting the ball to Julian Aguilar. He comes into this game 1-0 with a 5.06 ERA. His last start was very good at the Mets. He went 4 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits and no earned runs. Yeah, 3-1 win there over the Mets has to feel pretty good. Generally speaking, he's not somebody that goes very deep into games. He's been getting some great run support. It's been really, really wild. I mean, he went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs against Houston in a game the Reds somehow managed to win 5-3. He gave up 10 hits and 6 earned runs in 4 innings against Oakland. That was a game that the Reds managed to win 10-9. Like, the dude has just been very, very lucky. Will that luck continue here against the Twins? We'll have to see, but I'm not very excited about what I've seen from this young 23-year-old. I'm also not that high on the Reds bullpen anymore, guys. A 3.90 bullpen ERA is not great, and they just did a full bullpen start against the Cardinals, so the pen is going to be a little bit depleted. In terms of their offense, Cincinnati's been bad this season, scoring 1, 3, 1, and 3 runs over their last few games, and they're 15th in the majors in runs scored, but 26th in the majors in batting average. This is just not a very good team, not a very good offensive team, and not in a very good position with their pitching staff. So we'll see what they can do here against the Twins, who come into this game winners of 2 out of 3 against the Angels. They're 78-68 on the year. They're hitting the ball in this game to Bailey Ober, who's 12-6 this season with a 3.77 ERA, and he's coming off of back-to-back dominant starts, guys. His last time out, he was at Kansas City, so not the easiest place to pitch. He went 7 innings, gave up 1 hit, struck out 7, walked 0, and gave up 0 earned runs in a game that we eventually saw the Twins lose 4-2. So devastating for him there, but his start before that against Toronto was also lights out, gave up only 1 run over 6 innings. Ober seems like he is back to his normal self, so expecting good stuff from him. Expecting some problems for that Minnesota bullpen, guys. A 4.05 bullpen ERA has been one of the reasons they haven't been able to seriously challenge for that top spot in the NL Central. They're 5.5 games back now, and some blame for that has to go on their offense, although they're swinging some hot bats coming into this game, scoring 6 and 10 runs respectively over their last 2. So we'll see how things go in this game. We've got Cincinnati, they're 35-38 on the road. Minnesota is 41-31 at home. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under, and I'm not really interested in that over-under of 8. The Reds are plus 184 in this game, and the Twins are minus 218. So if you wanted to take this game, you pretty much have to take it minus 1.5. And I don't think that's a terrible spot, to be honest. You take a minus 1.5, you can get him at plus 100. And with Ober on the mound, I think Cincinnati is going to have a really, really rough time. So give me the Twins minus 1.5 in this game. Is it going in the pinned comment? I'd say it's unlikely. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Colorado Rockies. The Cubs come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 there at the Dodgers, and only 8.5 games back in the NL Central. They're trying to put some pressure there on the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cubs are handing the ball to Javier Assad in this game, who's 7-5 this year with a 3.14 ERA. His last start was very serviceable against the Yankees. He got 0 runs of support in a game the Cubs lost 2-0, but he went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, only a single earned run. So pretty positive stuff there. We'll see what he can do here pitching at Coors Field. Obviously not the easiest place to pitch, but you're getting to pitch against that terrible Rockies offense, so we'll see what happens. He did pitch against them back in April, very early April, and was absolutely lights out in that start, but that's so long ago, can't really give that too much weight. The Cubs bullpen here down the stretch has been very reasonable as well, guys. They are somewhere in the top 10 with a 3.72 bullpen ERA, so nothing wrong with that. And the offense has really come alive, guys. They've scored 8, 6, 10, 2, 0, 0, and 12 runs over their last few games. Very solid stuff. We've seen good stuff from Happ this season. Generally speaking, this team is just hitting the ball better here down the stretch. It's been really weird to see this offense suddenly go nuts, but go nuts they have. So we'll see what they can do here against the Rockies, who come into this game with very little to play for, fresh off of a weird win over Detroit. They're hitting the ball to Austin Gomber, who's 10-5 this season with a 4.50 ERA. He's coming off the paternity list. His last start was back on the 5th against Atlanta, and he went 8 innings, gave up 5 hits, only a single earned run, and he struck out 6 in that game. So dominant stuff. We'll see what he looks like coming back here from a little break. Obviously, you know, things can happen. He can get a big jolt from that. He could go out there and be amazing. He could also go out there and be terrible. A unit that I know is going to go out there and be terrible is that Rockies bullpen. A 5.36 bullpen ERA for Colorado is absolutely worst in the majors. They've been the worst bullpen all season long, and this offense really not too impressive, guys. They're 22nd in the majors in runs scored and 24th in the majors in on-base percentage, despite getting to play half their games at Coors Field. So looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Cubs at -140, the Rockies at +124. We've got an over-under of 10.5 in this game. The Cubs are 37-38 on the road. Colorado is 32-35 at home. We've got the Cubs actually being an over team on the road and the Rockies being an under team at home. We've got an over-under of 10.5 in this game. I honestly think under 10.5 might be fine to take. I would also lean towards the Cubs at -140, but generally speaking, guys, this is a game where I have very little interest. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Houston Astros going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Angels. The Astros come into this game fresh off of a much-needed 6-3 win there over Oakland to salvage one game in that series. They've got a 4-game lead over Seattle in the AL West. They're going to be giving the ball to Yusei Kikuchi, who's 8-9 this season with a 4.31 ERA. He had his first pretty mediocre start there for the Astros since coming over, but yeah, guys, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, giving up 2 home runs. He struck out 6 and walked 0 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's not even that bad of an outing, to be honest. I mean, he's looked very good so far in an Astros uniform. They're 5-0 over his last 5 starts. Only positive things for me to say about Kikuchi, and only positive things for me to say about this Houston bullpen that is sporting a 3.46 bullpen ERA. That is 4th best in the major leagues. The offense, maybe not swinging the hottest bats, obviously coming off a game where they scored 6, but yeah, 6, 4, 3, 6, 11, and 8 over their last few. Maybe not amazing. They're 3rd in the majors in batting average, but 12th in runs scored. So it's been a little bit of an issue for them putting up runs this season, but we'll see what they can do here against the Angels, who have lost 4 out of their last 5 to fall to 60 and 85 on the year. They're hitting the ball in this one to Samuel Aldeguerri, who comes into this game 1-1 this year with a 2.45 ERA. His last start was dominant at the Rangers, 6 innings, 3 hits, only a single earned run allowed. This young 22-year-old from Italy has done some pretty good stuff since coming up to the big leagues. I mean, I don't know, one terrible start against Seattle, one amazing start at the Texas Rangers. So we'll see what we get from him here in this 3rd start. Obviously, pretty hard to predict what we're going to get from him. Looking at the bullpen for the Angels, they've been pretty bad this season, no doubt about that. They've been better down the stretch, a 3.98 bullpen ERA, but not a bullpen that I'm in love with, and generally speaking, not an offense I'm in love with either, guys. 4, 5, 6, 4, 4, and 5 runs over their last few is pretty hot hitting, honestly, for the Angels that are 27th in the majors in runs scored. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Astros at -205, the Angels at +188. We've got an over-under of 8.5. Houston is 34-36 on the road. The Angels are 30-42 at home. We got we've got both teams showing trends towards the under here. Houston's actually the best under team in the majors when playing on the road. So, guys, I think under 8.5 is live in this game for sure. I mean, Houston's 41-27-2 to the under when playing away from home. I don't have a big read on the side. I mean, I would go slightly towards the Astros, but at -205, that's not a very appealing price. What are we going to see from this young Italian out there? I have absolutely no idea. So this game's going to be passed for me. Could he be amazing? Sure. Could he be terrible? Sure. I expect Kikuchi to be good at least, so we'll see what happens. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Brewers and Giants are actually playing right now in the bottom of the 8th inning. Milwaukee is up 3-0, so looking decent to get the win there. That will salvage them a 2-1 series win there. They're going to be hitting the ball to Tobias Myers in this game against the Diamondbacks. Myers is 7-5 this season with a 2.93 ERA. He's coming off of a very good start against the Colorado Rockies. 11 strikeouts, 4 hits, 6 innings, only 1 earned run allowed, and a 5-2 win there for the Brewers. He's been pretty reasonable. That was obviously a very dominant start against the Rockies, but maybe not a ton of dominant starts for him this season. But generally speaking, I'm seeing good stuff here from Tobias Myers. I'm seeing very good stuff from that Milwaukee bullpen that's second in the majors right now in bullpen ERA, and the offense has been the problem here down the stretch, guys. I mean, coming in like in their current games, looks like they've only scored 3 runs through 8 innings. That's a bit problematic, just not up to the level that they were early in the season when they were putting up all these big offensive numbers. So worried about their offense, but not worried about their pitching staff in this game as they go up against the Diamondbacks, who have won their last 3 in a row. They're 82-64 in the season, fighting hard to try to make the playoffs. They're hitting the ball to Eduardo Rodriguez, who's 2-2 this season with a 5.83 ERA. His last start was at Houston. Not a great start, guys. 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs allowed in that one. So not too hot there. We'll see what he looks like going up against the Brewers, who aren't swinging the hottest bats at the moment, so I'd say he's got a chance out there, but I'm also worried about that Diamondbacks bullpen that's not that great. The strength of this team is obviously their offense, guys. They've been probably the best offensive team in the majors this season. First in runs scored, first in on-base percentage. They just put up tons of runs. They're coming off a game they scored 14. We'll see what they can do here against Tobias Myers, though. So looking at the numbers of this game, it's basically a coin flip. Brewers -102, Diamondbacks -110. We've got an over-under of 8.5. Milwaukee is 41-33 on the road. Arizona is 41-31 at home. We got both teams showing trends towards the over here, guys, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. I'm a little bit worried about that, though, because of Myers' success here. So only the slightest lean towards the over, and maybe a small lean here towards the Diamondbacks since they're playing at home, and that Milwaukee offense hasn't been great down the stretch. So give me Arizona -110, but not going in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we got the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Seattle Mariners. The Rangers making a comeback here against Seattle late in the game, in game 1 of this series. We'll see what they can do there, but the excitement is around Jacob deGrom making his return here after being on the IL forever. It's going to be his first start in 503 days. We've seen this guy be one of the most dominant pitchers in the major leagues in his past, so we'll see if he's got it in him to do that one more time out there, and that could be nice to turn things around for the Rangers, who haven't had the best season, but they still have a theoretical chance to make a run here. The bullpen has not been helping. A 4.46 ERA coming out of the pen is not great, and just got the news that Corey Seager was going to have season-ending sports hernia surgery, so that's not great. Yeah, got to get that taken care of, though, so what are you going to do? Unfortunately, guys, not looking like a great end of the year here for the Texas Rangers as they go up against the Mariners, who obviously are still battling it out there, trying to hold on to that lead. They're going to be hitting the ball to Emerson Hancock, who's 3-4 this season with a 4.76 ERA. He hasn't been pitching with the big league club for quite some time either. His last start was back on July 6th, so we'll see what we get out of this young 25-year-old going up against the veteran deGrom. Gonna be an interesting matchup there. The Seattle bullpen has not been as good down the stretch as they were early in the year, but a 3.78 ERA coming out of the pen, definitely no reason for embarrassment. In terms of the offense, there's plenty of reason for embarrassment, guys. This has been one of the worst offenses in Major League Baseball. They're dead last behind the White Sox, guys, in team batting average. They're 28th in the majors in slugging percentage, 24th in runs scored. They did score 5, 3, 10, 0, and 6 runs over their last few games. So huge offensive outbursts there for Seattle. We'll see if they can do anything like that against deGrom, though. I'm not going to be holding my breath. And looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Rangers at -116, the Mariners at +105. We've got an over-under of 7 in this game. The Rangers are only 29-42 on the road. Seattle is 42-29 at home, so they've been a very good home team. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. The Rangers are an over team on the road, and Seattle's an under team at home. Guys, this is a really tough spot. I'm actually leaning towards the Rangers a bit here. I think deGrom is going to come out and do some very, very positive things, and I've got very little faith here in Emerson Hancock. So, yeah, go ahead and give me the Rangers, but this is not going in the pinned comment. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the San Francisco Giants. The Padres come into this game fresh off of a 5-2 loss there at Seattle. They're 82-65 in the year, battling it out to make it into that wild card spot. They're going to be hitting the ball to Dylan Cease, who comes into this game 12-11 on the season with a 3.71 ERA. His last start was against the Giants back on the 7th, and he didn't have an easy time. 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs allowed. He gave up a home run in that game. Not his best stuff, and honestly, his last 3 starts have all been a little bit below the the level that we've come to expect from him this season. In terms of their bullpen, guys, the Padres were terrible early in the season, but they've rounded into form a little bit. A 3.84 bullpen ERA is not horrendous. In terms of their offense, they've been one of the weirdest offensive teams in the majors. At times the best, at times looking like the worst. They're first in batting average, sixth in runs scored. Over the last few games, they've scored 2, 7, 6, 3, and 5 runs. So, they've done some positive things, done some negative things, but this is a pretty solid offense overall. They're going to be going up against the Giants in this game, who are currently battling things out with the Mariners. They are down 3-0 in the top of the ninth, so looking a bit sketchy there. They're 72 and 74 on the year, handing the ball to Logan Webb, who's 12-9 this season with a 3.46 ERA. His last start was at San Diego, guys. He went 6 innings, gave up 10 hits in 3 earned runs in what was a 6-3 win there for the Giants. So not dominant stuff from Webb, who's shown dominant stuff at times this season, but has been very, very hittable over his last 3 to 4 starts. So a bit worried about him. Very worried about that Giants bullpen, a 3.98 bullpen ERA, a number that's improved slightly for the Giants, but this is not a great bullpen. The offense for the Giants has been weirdly good recently. I mean, they're 16th in the majors this season, 19th in batting average, but over the last few games, guys, they've scored 13, 2, 7, 6, and 1 run. Like, they've been putting up some weirdly nice offensive numbers and have good history recently against Cease. So, looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Padres at -105, the Giants at -102. We've got over-unders out there of 6.5 or 7. The Padres are 41 and 30 on the road. San Francisco is 41 and 33 at home. We've got both teams showing slight trends towards the under here. Guys, I'm not hearing any of that. I am going with this over. I think over 6.5 is very, very good value for this game. I think over 7 is fine as well, but search around, see if you can find that 6.5 out there. It definitely still exists. Over 6.5, definitely going in the pinned comment. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.